Hi, I'm Jess,
And I'm Paige.
and we're the broadcast.
Babe.
Welcome back.
We are back for another episode, and today I am so excited about this one. Me and Jess were talking about new topics, and I was like, we need to talk about this because I saw it on TikTok. It's a new trend, and it is the lucky girl syndrome. Now, Jess, you said you know what it is.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about this for weeks, Paige. Like the motivation, like the manifestation. You know how I said I used to say, like I literally sat in that chair, I go, it sounds bad, but I used to say I'm just lucky. Remember that? It's like
It's pretty much exactly that.
Yep.
Let's say we're going to deep dive in it. Explain how it's helped us. Maybe, I mean, I haven't really used it yet, but I'm going to. And I'm just going to explain. I saw this on TikTok and I put it on my notes. So I was like, we need to get this. Ooh, bye, Buffy. Because we need to get this right. So the lucky girl syndrome is basically all about affirmation and just telling yourself that you are lucky and the universe is in your favor. And that is the law of attraction, because that means that what you believe becomes your own reality. So pretty much if you tell yourself that you're lucky and have good luck, then that luck will come to you. And I think that that's so important because I personally always used to say I have the worst luck. Like
Really?
even when this is like such a specific and vivid memory of mine. In middle school, we'd always have like these school dances and they'd have raffles. I would never win. And after like there's 3 years in a row I didn't win. And I was like, I have the worst luck. I don't win anything. Like the worst things happen to me. And I would just always tell myself like I have the worst luck. But I feel like recently when I started doing sorry. Buffy's just doing her
Buffy's
thing.
nesting over here.
But more recently when I honestly, like when I met you and started doing manifestation affirmations, I just feel like my luck has literally just changed. But yeah, like I feel like luck is all what you make of it, and it's a huge factor in your success, like how you view luck. And because I always see
The
these
mentality.
right, because I always see these things either on Instagram or Pinterest or wherever I look. It always says, I don't know exactly what the saying is, but it's like luck meets like hard work and drive. So like when someone's like, oh, you're so lucky, there's always like things behind it that make you lucky. But at the same time, a lot of things in this industry are luck.
Yeah.
You meet like being at the right place at the right time, meeting the right people. So yes, like you need to work to get that hard work behind it, so you're prepared when you do meet that person or are in the right space, that you are prepared to get the opportunity. But at the same time, there is luck. So I always like to think that I can control everything in my life, and that includes luck. Like you can bring luck to yourself.
Oh, definitely. And I think in its simplest form, it's just believing in yourself and just having no doubt, like acting on overconfidence. And I think like the reason why like I've always kind of had this thing was my parents like instilled so much confidence in me as a child and growing up. Like they always encouraged me and told me like I was great at things, even probably if I wasn't. And maybe I was too overconfident with certain things. But in general, that like stuck with me. And, you know, I kind of mellowed out in life and figured out like, okay, maybe you're not great at that. But like naturally, like I feel very confident doing things and pursuing things, even if it's scary. I don't really have that fear because I do trust myself. And you really can create your reality, and tied in with that like manifestation, but the combination with hard work, because I mean, luck and manifestation will only get you so far. And it's kind of contradictory, I guess, to even call it lucky girl syndrome, because it's not luck if what's behind the luck is yourself, just knowing that you're lucky and creating that luck. You know what I mean?
I do. And going back to what you said about confidence and like how it was instilled at you in a young age, I think that confidence is something where it's not something you just have or you don't have. Like confidence is something that you can work with.
Yes.
And I started off as a kid, I was like the most confident person. Like I always wanted the most attention on me. Like I had so much confidence. And then like through like middle school, beginning of high school, I kind of lost it a little bit just because, you know, like social pressure, social media. And then in college, I was like, I need to be confident again. But I didn't feel confident inside at all. But then I manifested. I told myself, like, you are confident, like daily affirmations. And it really does make you confident. So I feel like it's not something that you either have. Some people are born with confidence, like, and that's just what it is. But it's something that you can work for. It's like a lot of qualities that you can have within yourself. But confidence is something that, like you said, is just so important. especially if you want, it's important for everyone. But if you want to get into an industry that takes a lot of no's, like we're going to hear probably a million no's before we hear a yes.
Mhm.
It's all about that self-confidence and knowing like, yes, I'm good enough. Just because I hear a no doesn't mean I'm not good enough. It just means
Mhm.
it's not the right thing for me. So it's just so important to really have that self-confidence and even fake it until you make it, because truly I think that's the only way to really do it.
Mhm.
And confidence, like when there's a confident person, they just glow different.
Mhm.
Like I don't know if you ever noticed that, but like I can just tell like when the people around me are confident and people are drawn to you, and that's so
Well,
important.
a huge part of that too is body language, because how you act, it shows through your body without you even realizing that. So when a confident woman walks in the room, like she's standing up tall and her hair is back, she's not trying to hide herself, stuff like that. Yeah. No, but it really reads, and you can feel like it emitting from them as they walk through the room. And that's why a lot of people are drawn to people like that. They sense their confidence, and for some people they want to like compete with that. Some people they want that, like people respond different ways, but the commonality is that people are drawn to them no matter what.
Right. Have you always, because I know you said that you've had confidence forever. Has that ever like wavered, or have you stayed confident all throughout
Oh,
your life?
oh yeah. So like yeah, I mean, I how do I put this? There are obviously things I struggle with. I think as a kid I was more confident and even fearless than when I hit kind of maybe around 18, 19 years old, like when I started kind of getting lost and like losing myself a bit. And then it makes me question things. And I was like, okay, as a kid, I was fat and ugly. Like, I'm just going to say it. Like, I was the fattest, ugliest kid. And
Whoa.
no, I thought I was hot shit. Like, I literally thought I was so hot. And I would like walk into the classroom, and I wasn't like bullied or anything, because I literally thought I was like, I used to look in the mirror and like check myself out and be like, wow, you are a good looking girl. And I was like this little Twinkie.
Oh my gosh.
But then as you get older and reality sets in, and it's like even getting a serious boyfriend and the realization that like bad things can happen to the person you love, stuff like that, and that fear in reality, everything happening at once, it makes you question yourself and life around you. And I struggle with body dysmorphia really bad. So like physically now, I struggle a lot more with my confidence, but who I am as a person, like that's something I've always really like in my core I've been comfortable with and confident with. Like I'm not afraid to show my personality. I'm not afraid to speak out about things I care about and defend the people around me, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and that's so important because I mean, body image that's gonna change like throughout the year, but like because you're gonna change, you're gonna look different from when you're 6 to when you're 16 to when you're
Mm-hmm.
65. Like you're always gonna be changing, but that personality, that like that core of you, that's most of the time is not gonna change much. Like it will
Yeah.
change a little bit, but especially in the age we are now, like we're turning into like woman, and like that's not gonna change much. Like our views, our beliefs, they're kind of set in. So
Mm-hmm.
it's so good to have that confidence in your personality, and also allows you to be more fearless in life. Like when you're comfortable with yourself, then you're more willing to put yourself out there for
Mm-hmm.
certain things. Because I could say right now, like when I was a freshman in college, I would not be reaching out to try to get opportunities because I was so uncomfortable with like where I was. Like I had no idea what I wanted to do. Like my looks, like they're pretty much the same as like now, but then, but I was super insecure about it. So I wouldn't put myself out there because I was scared of rejection because I wasn't comfortable. But like
Yeah.
even now, if I were to get rejected, if it's a job, a relationship, whatever it is, I'm still confident with myself. So I'm like, oh, well, even if I don't have that job,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still confident. I still have me. So I think that's the important thing. Because let me backtrack. I just think it's very important to really focus and care about building yourself and your confidence, because nothing else is going to give you that confidence long term. Like the
Mm-hmm.
only person that can do that is you.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you have a boyfriend, let's say, that makes you feel super confident, that could go away.
Yeah, you can't get that from another person.
Right. You need to build it within yourself. And I think that's something that I've really learned. Like, stop using outside factors to make me feel confident. Like, just build your confidence on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like we were talking about, that helps you with every aspect of your life, because when you're comfortable here, you're comfortable everywhere else too.
And you can literally like rewire your brain, and we've talked about this a bit, but like the affirmations, even physically, to boost how you feel about yourself physically, like you can literally look in a mirror and tell yourself that you're beautiful over and over again, and at some point you just kind of convince your brain, and it actually helps you just like subconsciously recognizing your words with your face by looking in that mirror. the combination of the two of them is another great tool to like build your confidence.
Right. And it seems like that stuff is fake. Like it really does. Like when you're doing it, like when I first started doing it, I would like look at myself and I would say, I'd be like, what is this doing? But like truly, like because if you think about it, because we talked about scrolling in past episodes, like when you first wake up, you look at your TikTok and like your scroll, and that sets your whole day. But let's take affirmations, for example. If you wake up and the first thing that you say is, I'm beautiful, I'm worthy, it's going to be a great day.
Sets the tone.
Right. It sets the tone for the whole entire day. And I think that's something that is just huge and so important because it seems so silly when you're doing it, but it really is like so effective.
Obviously it works, since fat little me thought she was so beautiful, and that's what I was telling myself every day.
Something I want to backtrack on. You said you lost some confidence when you felt like you were like losing certain like your ups and downs of your life. And I've actually found that too, because a few years back, like I felt like one thing happened and I just like spiraled, and then like I was like questioning my faith. Like I started questioning everything in my life. And I feel like it's so important to like figure out everything about yourself first, your faith. I can't even think about it, but like your work, relationships, all that. Well, that's not really yourself if it's relationships, but
well, you can how you love someone.
Right. So I think it's so important to figure that out about just you, because there are going to be ups and downs in life. Like Taylor said last week, the speed bumps in your life, it's bound to happen. Like bad things are going to happen. Things are going to test you. You're going to be so confused about why certain things happen. Like why me? But it's just so important to really like honestly make it a self-care day, week, month, whatever you need to do, and just write it down, like everything you need to figure out about your life, because I think it's so important. And I think we forget about this a lot of time because life is just so busy and so much is going on that we forget how important it is to like really figure out ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think it's so important just to take a day or just to be alone, like be just with yourself and figure out that confidence, because it can be learned. And I think that's very important to realize, like it's okay if you don't have it right now, like it's something that you can learn.
It definitely can be learned, because who we are, I truly believe, I mean, partially genetics, but largely it's environmental. Like even our genetics, our DNA our natural traits can be forced out by our environment. Like you can be born confident, but you could have parents that put you down and you could lose every part of that. And in the same way, the way you were sculpted in your childhood, you can be sculpted into your adulthood, either by yourself or by the people around you or the circumstances around you. So the only thing you can't control the circumstance and you can't control the people, but you can control yourself. So you can frame in your mind who you are and become your own environment and create who you want to be.
That was so good. That's literally like, and I feel like that's kind of the epitome of like what lucky girl syndrome is. I watched a few TikToks before this, and it was just like saying how pretty much that, like a lot of times you get down because you feel as though like the universe is against me, or like you feel as though you can't control your own life, when it really is the opposite. Like we said, bad things can happen, but those affirmations of I am lucky, the universe is on my side, stuff like that, like you can control what's around you. And then at that point when the bad things happen, because they will happen, right?
Because you've created this person that can handle the environment around you instead of letting the environment control you.
Right. And I don't know if this is a movie. No, it's a motivational speech. Okay, guys. Whenever I'm at the gym, if I'm at the sauna, if I'm working out, I listen to like some hard motivational speeches. Like they're screaming in my ear. Like it really helps. It really motivates me. And one of the thing is, it was a religious one. I think it was Stephen Furtick. And he was saying like, stop asking yourself like, why me? And start saying like, try me. So it's all about like you knowing that you can face anything that comes your way. Because people come from all different like upbringings, all different privileges. Like some people have easier lives than others, but it's all relative, and bad things, like I said, are always going to happen. So honestly, like try to embrace the challenges. Like honestly, it kind of strengthens the plot of your life a little bit. Like if everything was easy, then the good things wouldn't be so great. So I think it's so important to just really have that mindset of like, try me, like try to bring me down. Or it seems like weird, but I love like the challenges that come just because I know I can handle them. And it's all about just staying true to yourself and just being confident in the fact that you can get through anything that comes your way.
Yeah, and honestly, what good is it to try to fight something that you can't control? At the end of the day, that's only going to hurt yourself. So it's better to just be who you are and make the best of whatever it is that you're in the middle of, and everything will pass. You know, life ebbs and it flows, and you'll come back to a good point in your life. Like, it always happens. Like, you're in a dark space, and you can always look ahead and be like, well, I know good things are coming, because it's just part of life. Bad things, good things, but
Right. Because
be
good
that
things
girl.
always come. They always come. Like,
Yeah.
I've been in spaces where I'm literally, like, sitting there, and this is, like, dark, but I would just be like, it's, like, I cannot see how, like, I can get out of this mindset, or, like, I can't see how this will get better. Like, I'm always going to be struggling like this. But then, like, looking back, like, a year later, 2 years later, it always gets better. Like, and it all comes from you. Like, it honestly comes down to, like, no one can really help you if you're not willing to help yourself.
Yep.
I've always said that. Like, even, like, if you go, if you're, like, going to therapy, if you're journaling, whatever, you need to want to get better yourself. So I think that it's so important to just, like, put yourself first and, like, be selfish, honestly. In a lot of situations, just put yourself first and really figure it out, and then you can help others, and then you can do other things. But having that self-confidence, and this all goes back to the lucky girl syndrome, because I like the idea that the universe is with me. Like, I like the idea of knowing that I can control what's around me, and I like the idea of just saying, like, every morning, like I said, it seems silly, but I'm lucky, the universe is on my side, it's going to be a great day.
Well, we're part of nature, and everything in nature is connected. The trees are rooted to the ground, and we're rooted to the earth,
I have to add something.
Go ahead.
Have you seen that picture of, like, the similarities between our bodies?
Our DNA, everything, yes.
Crazy. The lungs, and then
Yeah.
so our lungs have the same branches like the trees. All right, go on. Sorry.
Because we're part of nature. That's
Yeah.
where I was going with, is like the way that we connect, like the lucky girl syndrome, to manifestation, to who we are as people, to the environment. Our environmental factors mirroring the environment of the earth. Like, everything is connected, and that's why, like, naturally, we need to build ourselves up, just like take care of the earth, take care of ourselves, type of things. Like, just the way the earth is our home, so is our body, and so is our mind.
Right.
But it's just important to be aware, and once you're aware and you have the knowledge, that's where you go with it, and you can be the best person that you want to be.
Right, and that's why I love this podcast, like, doing it, because I've listened, like, this stuff I didn't just, like, learn in school, or, like, nothing about like, this is what I think podcasts are for, and just, like, free space talking, because, like, you don't learn, no one teaches you this stuff unless you go looking for it, really, because some people just think of, like, all that, like, journaling, like, gratitude journaling, anything is just, like, an extra thing that's not really super important, but, like, it has changed my life and how I view everything. So I think it's so important to just be mindful that there are these tools that maybe, like, okay, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, with, like, for example, when you go to the doctors, like, with a problem or whatever, they'll give you a prescription, or, like, there's a definite answer for it. But no one ever says, like, if you're feeling down or something, journal, do this, do this. Like, it's not something that's very readily available, like, information. And I just think it's honestly like a form of medicine, all the stuff.
Yeah, your mind can create illnesses, literally. And that's something that's missing with doctors, is just like the holistic health aspect. So that's why we've said this before, like, we would love to get a holistic doctor on the podcast to discuss some of these things, because there are so many ways to heal your body without going towards, like, pills and stuff like that, and that information is stuff that you're not taught, and stuff that, like, just like at home remedies that, like, our grandmas used to do, stuff like that actually works, that I would love to share and get, like, validation, or say they don't work at all, from someone that studies that in their field is holistic health. But with that being said, just protecting your mind, and that goes hand in hand with your body, they're all in one place, and you got to keep both of them healthy, not just one or the other.
Right. And to go off of that, we work out all the time. We do our daily, yearly physicals. We always take care of our bodies, but our mind is just as important or more important. So it is very important to really tackle that.
It's crazy that therapy isn't as normalized as it is to go to the doctor and get a checkup, mentally, who's checking in on you, because there's so many people that it's stigmatized. They don't, like, oh, therapy, quacks, bogus. Like, they don't want to do it, but it's important. I mean, even if you're not full of trauma, or you're not mentally ill or suffering in that way, I think it's important too to have conversations and getting therapy even in your daily life, like just how we talk to one another.
Right. And exactly, just like that, like, therapy doesn't have to be clinical or something like that. Like, that kind of therapy might work for some people, not for others, but like, this is therapy. Going on a walk is therapy. There's so many different types of therapy. And yeah, I just think it's so important to really take care of your mind, because that's where it all starts.
Yep. And now we're going to go into some listener questions.
I literally just posted on my Instagram. Jess has a few right now, but I'm going to see if I have any.
Callie asks about social media and mental health. It's not really a question, but I guess she wants to talk about that a little bit, which we can talk about.
Yeah, we've done a few episodes on, not really.
Well, we can like brush upon it, and then that will probably be an entire episode because that's just like there's so
Such a
many
big
layers to
topic.
that.
Yes. So,
Well, let me ask you, how do you keep social media from affecting your mental health?
I honestly just don't go on it much anymore for
Can't
like
relate.
I know. But you make a lot of content and you push out a lot, which is really good. But I try not. So the first thing I did was I went through my Instagram. People, this is kind of controversial because like I'm not trying to be rude, but I unfollowed a ton of people because I would like go on my Instagram and feel bad about myself. So I was like, everyone like I hadn't talked to in years. I
If it
didn't
doesn't
care.
fuel you, get rid of it.
Right. So I just unfollowed like a ton of people. That was the first thing. But I just think it's important to like really monitor your screen time because it is important. Like you don't want to be on your phone. I used to be on there for like 10 hours a day.
Yeah, I need to work on it. It's bad.
Yeah,
So bad.
Is yours like that right now?
Yeah.
But you also make content. That's the hard part. When we talked to Jorge, he would say that there is a balance. Watch that episode if you haven't already.
Yeah.
But it's hard when your job is in social media to really disconnect. But I would just say that the most important thing is just to monitor yourself. It's fine in moderation. I think everything's okay in moderation. Well, most things are okay in moderation. And social media can be a great tool for a lot of things. I find a lot of ideas on social media. I see a lot of great things, but there's also a lot of comparison. There's a lot of negative things. So it's just like, just keep it in moderation. That's what I would say.
For me, I think the best tip was like everything we just talked about is like building your confidence and like who you are as a person, and you won't really compare yourself as much to others. Because for me, I don't really struggle with like, oh, this person's more successful or this person's more beautiful. Like I get motivated by some of those things, but for me, like I guess the biggest struggle for me is always like the body stuff. Like when I see like a really skinny girl, like that stuff affects me, but I just try not to let it like get too deep inside of me and absorb that, because at the end of the day, like everyone is built differently and there's some things that are achievable and some things that are not, and you have to keep that in mind. But I'm not big on like shutting that stuff out and blocking that out altogether, because it's stuff I think I need to like work on in myself. Is just like that type of confidence for me. So I don't want to like get rid of it. I want to work on it.
Right. And just to kind of end that off, like I just think that it's really important just to realize that social media is a highlight reel. Like most of it's not real. Some of it isn't attainable. Like you just have to realize these people are putting out the best of themselves most of the time. There's some creators that have done a really good job of being really transparent, which I give you credit for that. You usually are very transparent, like on your TikTok and your socials.
I'm out there. I don't even care.
Yeah, but I just think it's important just
go to Revive Med Spa and get some Botox and filler. Ask for Dr. Elizabeth.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, social media is just a highlight reel. So if you take it as like either a tool or a game, you just can't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
That's
do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. Josh asked, what do you look forward to most in the future of your career? This is going to sound so like cliche, but I'm just so excited to like inspire people, because I do like little TV broadcasts for my school, and I've already gotten so many like DMs, messages from women just saying,
or what you did with Hendricken.
Oh yeah, so I went to an all boys school and I talked about like sports media and like my experience. That was so cool.
It was so cool. It was so cute.
They were so like motivated. Those students I was speaking to, like way more motivated than I was in high school. Like they were so excited to like hear what I had to say. They were such good listeners. It was amazing. But just like seeing your impact on people, I think is really cool. And that's one of the biggest reasons I want to be like on a big stage, is because I want to impact others. I want to inspire others. So I'm just excited to like hear all the stories about like how I affect people. Like I honestly want to know, like, because I've gotten so many like kind DMs of just like, I saw you do this, now I want to try. And like sports have changed my life, and being in them has changed my life dramatically.
Yeah.
So like if I could change someone else's life, I think that'd be the coolest thing.
Yeah, I think similarly for me, like in the political sense, like I would love to make a difference like politically and educating people politically. But also I'm just excited to honestly be in the thick of it all and actually get to work in it and do it, and just like grow with it and see where that takes me, because there's going to be so many different amazing stages throughout our careers, and who knows what's to come, but I just can't wait to experience it, because right now it's kind of that unknown. So it's exciting in my mind.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So another question we got was, what made you want to do podcasts specifically?
Right. And I actually got one too by Kim, and he asked what inspired us to start this podcast. So I think we've told the story, but it was pretty much Jess's idea.
Kind of like the intro episode. We
Yeah.
explained a lot of it, but
I mean, we kind of explained the last episode too. Like, we would just want to be a resource for other people, like through life and through this industry. And we want to start having a lot of guests on too, just so
Yeah.
we can share their journeys to give them a platform to tell their stories and kind of inspire people. I posted this on my Instagram today actually, but just like show that everyone's journey is different and just be okay with having your own journey, because literally everyone's is different.
Yeah, and like kind of what we were just saying about how just talking to people is therapy. For me, like when I listen to podcasts, a lot of them are kind of in the same realm. And even though they're not intended to be like therapeutic, it's like inevitably they become that just because of the type of topics that are brought up. And so far, with the way we're going with this podcast, I do love having these type of conversations on here and for people to listen to. I think it's just good work, you know.
It's also just fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It's a lot of fun to do this with a friend, like, and just talk about our common interests.
Definitely. So another listener question that we got was, where do you want to be in 5 years? I'll start.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, it's hard because like we always talk about, anything can happen, and next year, the next year, whatever.
Yeah.
But in 5 years, I'm hoping to be in a place where I can tell people stories on a big stage. I really want to be able to, like I said, inspire others and really focus on why I do this career, which is sports media. I want to tell stories, and I always say this. I think it's like there's platforms now where athletes can tell their stories. Like, they can make their own podcast. They can go on the news. But I think what's really special about journalism and what can't be replaced is that there is a sense of like there's tactic behind storytelling, and there's a way to tell a story. And I want to really help athletes, particularly because I'm in sports, but
Yeah.
I want to help them tell their story in a way that can inspire others, and so they can tell the story correctly. So I want to be in a place where I can do that for a lot of people. And then I also just want to, like, this is so cliche, but just be happy, be like, know I'm in the right space. I want to buy my first house by 25.
Yeah.
Have a dog. I want that dog.
Buffy.
Yeah. So that's where I want to be in 5 years.
For me, yeah, I guess I want to be in a spot career-wise where I'm able to tell stories in the political realm. Whether that be in just straight journalism or commentary. But I'd like to be in a space where I'm talking about the things that I'm really interested in and that can also make a difference, and just career-wise making strides, not just on the career end, but as myself as a journalist. And then personally, I mean, I'll be married by then for sure. And in 5 years, don't think I'll have kids yet, but who knows?
Oh,
Knock on wood.
That's
And then maybe I'll have a horse. I want a horse.
Oh, I know you want a horse. You want to live in the mountains.
I do want to like live on a farm, but probably not 5 years from now. It's probably gonna be my retirement.
Right. I have one more question.
Okay.
So how did you get yourselves to vlog and produce non-podcast content regularly? So is that just how we have time to?
I think I guess probably the time and just like what inspired our other interests, because but I mean, for me, like all of that, my TikToks, my vlog, like all that stuff came before this podcast, you know?
Right.
What about you?
I started vlogging on my TikTok because you told me to. So that's why I did that. But I honestly just find joy in like making content. I don't do it super regularly. Like whenever I feel like it, I'm just like, I need to be better with that, because if I want it to be like a career, then I have to take it more seriously. But right now I'm just having fun with it and trying to show my personality through my social media. So it's honestly just fun. That's why I do it.
Yeah, I mean, I just started doing it because I've always been an extroverted person, and I will admit I do like attention. So naturally, I was drawn to social media, like even in high school, posting kind of in like that influencer type way. And then I just started posting about things that I really love, like Halloween, stuff like that. Even I'd post, Squishmallows. I post like my music playlist, stuff like that. Those videos would perform really well, even when I wouldn't intend them to. And it was kind of that naturally occurring, organic content that where you can kind of see someone's passion shine through. That's what performs best. And from there on out, I just kind of kept creating that, and I can tell the difference when I'm not really into something. It doesn't perform as well. Like even my Christmas content versus my Halloween content. It's because I'm a diehard Halloween girl, you know?
Right.
And time-wise, I mean, we just got to figure out a balance. And
right. You just make it work. If you like doing it, you make it work.
And like you create videos that are fun and it doesn't really feel like work, you know? Thank you guys for listening. And I hope you all enter your lucky girl, boy, person era.
Yeah, all of us are lucky. We all have the lucky syndrome.
And we're lucky to have you listeners. So thank you for listening to us.
See you next week.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Tune in every single Monday on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast.
Don't forget to leave us a review and follow us on our social media. Our Instagram is @BroadcastBabesPod.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time. I'm Jess.
I'm Paige.
And we're the Broadcast
Babes.